Welcome everyone to the third Thursday meetup of the West Orlando WordPress meetup group. I'm Rob Watson, a co-organizer and host. West Orlando WordPress is an official WordPress meetup group and is affiliated with the main WordPress Orlando and WordCamp US meetup groups. Tonight we are sponsored by ChipBot, a face-to-face video, live chat, and a knowledge base, all in one easy-to-use tool for your website. ChipBot produces software that helps both businesses and their clients during any online interaction. ChipBot's WordPress plugin is easy to use, and the service can act as both a doorman and an aide, welcoming customers and assisting them with the questions that will move you closer to a sale. Visit getchipbot.com today and sign up for a free account. When you think about SEO, probably a big web workflow, the following comes to your mind: on-page SEO, off-page SEO, technical SEO, Google Search Console, Yoast, all-in-one SEO, Google Analytics, inbound links, outbound links, metadata, structured data, rich snippets, keywords, and the list goes on and on. Everyone who deals with websites and marketing is talking about SEO, but there are no set rules. So the best way to go about this is by paying extra attention to things that are under our control. Let's go through a quick checklist of non-hypothetical action items to optimize your WordPress website for SEO. Neha Patel is a returning West Orlando WordPress presenter and web developer who loves doing creative stuff, biking, and reading about health in her free time. From a young age, she has loved helping people. She works full-time as a web developer and owns a small business where she helps people with web design, development, and marketing. When time permits, she volunteers at Ladies Learning Code and also teaches coding for kids and adults. She has been a featured speaker at various WordCamps in the past few years and has found it a really great experience. At this point, I'd like to invite everyone to mute their microphones for the presentation. Neha, thank you for being our presenter this evening. The time is now yours.
Thank you so much, Rob, for the introduction. And thank you so much, guys, for attending the presentation and giving me this opportunity. Okay, so in today's presentation, we are going to go through a checklist, which will cover most of the bases on your WordPress website so that you can build upon it to have a better SEO strategy. So this checklist will cover almost everything, I think, almost everything that you should have on your website to have a better SEO strategy. So the first few things will be something that most people will know, which is reliable hosting, HTTPS enabled, and good site security. Now, these are some basic things that every website should have, and yes, these things affect SEO. This first one, robots.txt, is also something that we all take care of, but I still see some websites that don't use robots.txt file. In simple words, robots.txt will tell crawlers what areas of your website it should crawl and what areas it should just leave alone. So there's different rules that go in the robots.txt file, and it gets a bit technical and there's code in it. So I have included some links in here, and we can also take a look at, let's say, some examples. Can you guys see the second screen?
Yes. We're seeing the robots.txt for WordPress West Orlando.
Perfect. Okay, awesome. So what happens is different websites have different rules in their robots.txt. Now, if you want to take a look at West Orlando WordPress group website, then we have a very simple robots.txt, whereas some other websites, for example, let's say I'm going to go to this website, robots.txt, will have much more rules and stuff. So depends on your requirements, depends on how much content you have on your website, what kind of content you have on the website. It's up to you on what areas you want the search engines to crawl. Next, website hierarchy. When I say website hierarchy, I mean categorize your content properly. So let's say you have a home, which is the home page, about page, blog, tools. Let's say the blog has 4 to 5 different types of categories. Now it's up to you if you want to have that category listed in the URL. For example, let's just say I have this website, highvision.com. Some people like to categorize their blogs in the URL as well. Blog, all, video encoding. This one is all. Let's go to, yes. So basically what I mean to say is some people like to include their category in the URL itself. Now you have to be very careful when you include the category of your blog in the URL. The first thing is the URL becomes really long, which is not good sometimes, and it can also get confusing. So whenever you want to include categorization in the blog or any type of content, just make sure that the URL does not become overly long, otherwise it beats the purpose. Let's say I have a tools section in my blog. What I would do is include tools as a custom post type instead of making them as pages or blogs, so that your tools section is categorized under the tools custom post type. So it's up to you if you want to decide if you want to add custom post types or add content under just pages itself, regular pages, or add content under blog. So make sure that it's clear to you it's clear to the users, and it's clear to the search engines what your content is about. Sitemap. Now, XML sitemap makes your website easy to navigate and the content categorization easy to understand for the search engines. In WordPress, we don't have to create the XML sitemaps manually. Back in the days when we had HTML websites, we used to create the sitemap manually. But now that we have all these plugins, Yoast, All-in-One SEO, etc., you can create the sitemap with the plugin itself, and then you can submit it to Google Search Console. So one sec. So here in this website, we have Yoast generated sitemap. And here, I think we have a different URL. Yeah. We have a sitemap that is generated with Rank Math SEO plugin. And we have posts, page, meetup events, category, sitemap. Some websites have a very cluttered sitemap, which means the sitemap is not clean because they have all the unindexed pages that were supposed to be unindexed, or pages that were created by mistake also listed in the sitemap. So make sure that your sitemap is clean and easy to understand for the search engine so that it can give better SEO points to your website to rank. I also included a link to a detailed guide on the sitemap creation. Google Search Console. Now, every website should have Google Search Console set up. Depending on your target market, you might also want to look into Bing Webmaster Tools. So Google Search Console gives you different indications on where you need to make improvements on your website, so that Google can rank your pages on the search results. So coverage issues. First off, in the coverage issues, it will show pages that are not indexed, so that you can take a look into it and see if those pages are no index by mistake, or it was on purpose. You can see 404 pages, so you can fix the 404 pages, pages that are missing canonical tags, etc. I'm just going to open one coverage. Here we have a bunch of different things that we can change. So let's say alternate page with proper canonical. So there will be duplicate pages, pages that are 404, pages that have different issues that will be listed here. So that is something we need to look into and fix. Next would be page experience. Page experience is a very good. Okay, so here we don't have much, don't have any data in the page experience because we don't have as many visitors to collect that data. But page experience basically gives you things like, do we have any core web vital errors? How does the mobile usability look like? Things like that. Core Web Vitals gives you errors, shows you errors on your website, on the mobile and on the desktop. So you can fix those errors as well. Those are basically code errors, and let's say font sizes are small, or some JavaScript is taking too long to load. Sometimes the elements are not aligned properly on the mobile. Things like that. Mobile usability. Now, this shows you how many pages on your website have a good mobile usability and how many pages have a bad mobile usability. So if in this area, if you see that some pages have bad mobile usability, that means if it's taking too long to load, if the elements on the page are hard to navigate to, hard to use or click, then it will show up in this section, the mobile usability section. So those are the few important sections of Google Search Console, but there are many other sections that will help you improve your website, and that helps a lot in SEO. Backlink audit. So there's different ways to do backlink audit on your website. You can use different tools to see how many backlinks you have externally and internally. And then you can use a tool like Website SEO Checker to see which websites have a low domain authority. If a website that you're linking back to or that is linking to you has a low domain authority, you will want to create a list of those pages, and then you need to submit it to Google to disavow it. Disavow. I'm going to include the link to it, but it's somewhere in Search Console that you can upload a link, upload a list of URLs, and then you can disavow them, which means you're telling Google that this is a website that's linking to me, but I have nothing to do with them. Sometimes bad websites like, I don't know, like Black Hat SEO or porn companies, stuff like that. Those websites link back to your site, random websites, and we don't want any connection to them because they bring down the authority of our website. So you can create disavow list and upload it to Google Search Console. Oh, and you can get a list of backlinks from different places. You can get it through Screaming Frog, which is, where is this tool? 1 second. Here, Screaming Frog is a free tool that you can use to that you can use to get all the URLs of your website. You can get a list of missing content and stuff. We'll go over it in the later slides because I have a slide for this. But yeah, Screaming Frog tells you how many backlinks you have and stuff like that. You can export the list, and then you can see what backlinks have good authority and what backlinks have bad authority, like the websites. Oh yeah, and then there's also tools like SEMrush and Ahrefs. SEMrush also provides a free version. SEMrush has a free version where you can do a lot of things for free, like check backlinks, check 404s, stuff like that. Oh yeah, there's also a section in Google Search Console where you can see the external links. Or the domains that link to you. And then you can export the list and see the domain authority by uploading this list to this domain authority checker website. Yes, another point that we often forget is that in our website, we create pages and then we delete pages, or we create some pages by mistake. We want to make sure that our website have no broken links. So use a broken link checker plugin, or use Screaming Frog to tell you which pages give a 404, and fix any broken links that you find on the website. On page. So sometimes we create pages that we don't give too much attention to, and then we forget about it. But those kind of pages also bring down our website authority. So make sure that the basics are covered on all the pages, such as the meta description. Meta description is a short description. I forgot to include the character count, but I'll include it. So meta description is like a description of what the page is about. And then you should also include the keywords in the meta description and include it in your title as well. So make sure that your main keyword is included in the meta description and the titles in a meaningful way. So the meta description should be meaningful as well. And the title tags should be also there. It should be 50 to 60 characters. So title tags is different than the H1 tag. Title tag usually shows up in this little tab here. Same thing for H1 tag. There should be one H1 tag per page, only one H1 tag always. It should be between 20 and 70 characters. Then proper H2 tags. There should be always a featured image if that page is to be shared, and then proper open graph cards also if you think that that page is going to be shared. So create meaningful meta descriptions, title tags, proper H1s and H2 tags. So, use the H1s and H2 tags and other header tags in a way that it's easier for the user to understand, as well it's easier for search engines to understand. So Yoast SEO covers a lot of these things. When you use your Yoast SEO, it will tell you if your meta description is long, if your title tag has too many characters, or if you're using more than one H1 tags. It will indicate what we are doing wrong on our page, and we can just simply follow Yoast guidance and fix it. But I'm sure there's other plugins too, like All-in-One SEO. And then there's this tool called SEO Optimer, which will also, so with this tool, you'll have to go through each and every page one by one, but that is useful when you have certain pages in mind. So if you think that there's some good pages on your website that you really want to rank, you can start here. You can just use this tool, plug in your URL and do a quick audit, and it will give you a quick checklist of things that you can improve on your page right away. So that's a very good tool. Orphan pages. Yeah, this one is really good. So sometimes we create pages like a thank you page or one-off pages that we use once or twice, and then we forget about them. These type of pages that do not have much information or that are not really meant for SEO and they're just there for one-time use can also affect our SEO ranking and our website authority. So make sure that you find orphan pages, and that you can do through Screaming Frog also. There's an orphan pages tab here somewhere. But yeah, there's the orphan pages tab in Screaming Frog with which you can export the orphan pages and then you can delete them, unindex them. You can do whatever you want. Just make sure that search engines don't find these pages that do not have much information or that do not hold much weight on your website, because they do bring down points. And also orphan pages are pages that no other pages on your website link to. So they're not interlinked to any other page. Duplicate content. So this is also a very important one. Sometimes we write more than one article, which is catered to the same topic, which could cause duplicate content. So you can use a tool like this, siteliner.com, find the duplicate content, and then you can decide what you want to do. Maybe you can add canonicals, or you can add no index, or you can just delete it. Just make sure that there's not a lot of duplicate content. If possible, there's not any duplicate content on your website. Schema markup. Schema markup is very important for search engines to understand what type of content you have on your page. Let's say we have a real estate website. So if we list out the page content in a way that a user can understand, like number of bedrooms, number of bathrooms, stuff like that, it's easy to understand for a user because we can see it. But for search engines, there's a special markup language, which is a piece of code which can be added in different ways on your website for search engines to understand what type of content you have on your page. It could be events, it could be an educational article, anything like that. Event. I know that Yoast has a little drop down which lets you select what kind of content your page has, whether it's a contact page. But you can generate your own schema markup and you can add it on your pages. I usually use this so that I can just add a little script on the page. But Yoast has an inbuilt one, and there's also schema markup plugins. You can also test out the schema markup with a tool called schema markup testing tool. Go to schema markup validator, and then you can just put your URL and then see. Awesome. So yeah. So here you can see there's no errors. So sometimes if you have errors, you might also want to fix that. So here you see that when we just put our main domain, it will show that it's an organization. If it's a person's website, it will show a person if the schema is added. Then we might want to add, and somewhere here, there should be YouTube and all that listed. If it's not, then it should be added in the schema markup. But yeah, so there's different things you can do with schema. You can add your social media, you can add your other websites, related websites in your schema markup to tell Google or tell search engines that these websites are related. This is the social media page of West Orlando WP group, things like that. If you have a real estate website, you can add a schema markup for real estate on every page. Okay, I included the link to all the tools here. Oh, this is a very important one, accessibility. So now with accessibility, you don't just increase the range of your audience, but you're also helping users that otherwise cannot use the website. So accessibility also gives you positive points for SEO. This website gives you good guidance on accessibility, but if you want to directly make improvements on your website accessibility, I would go to, let's say, right click, inspect, Lighthouse, and then you can test all these other things. I used Lighthouse to test other things as well, but you can also run an accessibility test of each and every page through this. And then you can analyze, and it will tell you a whole bunch of things that you can improve and add on your page to make your page more accessible. I'm going to let that test run, and then I'm going to share it at the end. Speed optimization. I think everyone knows this. Make sure that the website speed is always optimized. You can test. You can see actually which pages, or was it Core Web Vitals? Oh, here we don't have much data, but usually it shows up here. So when you have pages that are taking longer to load, it will show up in the Google Search Console in Core Web Vitals. And even in analytics, there's a section where it shows the pages that are taking too long to load. So page timings, overview. So in Google Analytics, it's in behavior, site speed, and then overview. So basically, it will list out all the pages that are taking too long to load, and then you can do a test on all those pages and make improvements in the speed. Check the site health tab in WordPress. Yeah, so in WordPress, there is a section, tools, and then site health. It will tell you if your PHP is outdated, or if a rewrite rule in your htaccess file is missing, if there's anything that is wrong on the server or on your website code itself, if a plugin hasn't been updated for a year or so, everything will show up here in the site health tab. Oh, and then I'm sure this is the last thing on my list, but I'm sure there's a lot of other things, small things that you can focus on as well. This one is when websites don't have www redirecting to their non-www, or vice versa. Let's say we have this website. If I type www.westorlando, it should basically redirect to the West Orlando WordPress group.org, WordPress.org. So in any scenario, if you have a non-www, if someone types in your website with www, then it should redirect to non-www. It's up to you which one you want to use. Some people use the www one, some people use the non-www one. And then make sure that your URLs redirect from, when you have a URL, make sure that it redirects from the non-slash version to the version with the slash. So let's say this, if I remove the slash, sometimes people forget to type it. It should just redirect to the one with the slash. So this is good. I think that thing is the last thing on my slide. Oh, and then yes, questions. We had a question about readability score. Yes, so I don't write a lot of content, but I know that content writers use readability score to get feedback about their content, but they don't 100% rely on that. Most of the times, the content writers that I work with, they don't take the readability score literally, but they just make sure that the blog post or the article is easy to understand, is properly using the keywords, proper header tags and stuff. Yeah, they don't, the content writers that I work with do not rely on the readability score in Yoast SEO too much. How to seamlessly keep your site current and relevant. So when you say how to keep your site current and relevant, one of the things is this checklist that we went through. Make sure that this kind of a health check or audit, whatever you want to call it, happens at every few months interval. Most of the things in that checklist should happen every few months. Keep checking your stuff in Google Search Console. If you have outdated content, let's say if you have old blog posts and you write a new blog post about the same topic, make sure that you add a canonical tag to the old blog post so that any traffic that is going to if Google goes to that old blog post, it then refers back to the new blog post, considering it as the most current version. How can what can I do to improve my search rankings? For this, make sure that first of all those 15 to 17 points are completely covered, because those are the basis. I don't think any of that is optional, and any of those points do not differ for any website. All the websites should have those bases covered. Then you can think about keyword strategy and all those things. But one of the things that you want to do is look at your competitors, look at what type of keywords they use. When you do your keyword strategy and when you make a list of keywords that you want your websites to rank for, check which keywords are easy to rank for. So I'm not a keyword strategist, but I know a few good things about keywords is that check which keywords have a good amount of search volume. There's a range, but if the search volume is too high, then it would be hard to rank for. If the search volume is too low, it's not worth it. So choose a middle ground. So try to work with the keywords that have a medium range of search volume. Then look at what articles or what websites are ranking for those keywords. Make a list of all the things that, let's just say, how to create a let's say how to do a backlink audit. Now, when we have all these results, if you would want to rank on this page, you would want to follow each and everything that these guys did, all these ranking pages did, and then you want to do better than them. So you want to do everything that they are doing and then do better than them. So combine the content that they have and add more content to your page. Make sure that it has proper titles and there's no errors. The speed of your page is good. All those little things, make sure that you're doing better than them. And then chances of your ranking will be higher. It also depends on how old your website is or how new your website is, what is the domain authority and all those things. I just remembered, I forgot to include one topic. Very important topic is that images. People tend to forget about images. Images should be always optimized. Make sure that the images are compressed. Images should be, the naming convention of the images should be lowercase, dashes only, no underscores. Make sure it has a meaningful name. And then all the images should have alt and title tags when you upload it to your WordPress website. Make sure that you're using relevant images on a page. So let's say you're creating a page about project management. You're creating a blog post about project management. If you include an image, make sure that your keywords in the page that you're trying to use are also included in your images, in your image names, basically. So use meaningful names for your images. They should be a lowercase only and only dashes, no underscores. That's a rule. I'll find the link to that rule on the WordPress website. Yeah, and make sure that all the images have title tags and alt tags. And the images are optimized, of course. So that's it. Back to the questions. I think I answered all these 3 questions. If we have more. Yeah, that's about it for what I had. And if you guys have any questions, I'm ready to take the questions.
Thank you so much. This was really, really helpful. I've learned so much and I've been reminded of a lot of things that I have not been doing. So very, very valuable presentation. Thank you again for doing this for us.